I got a car. I got a car. I got a car.
She's got a car, which usually means she's in debt, and somehow that's something to celebrate. We're going to start this one off with someone who doesn't understand what a down payment is. The math isn't mathin'.
It sounds like you're pretty interested in this CRV that we got.
Okay, let me tell you our main problem. If we put the $3,000 down, that raises the price of everything to $30,000. Then you have to put the taxes and all that other kind of fees on top of it. So that's where we're at, where we're uncomfortable with. All that stuff going over $30,000. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's too much for us.
She thinks putting money down actually makes the car cost more. Like cash is some type of penalty fee at the dealership. If you don't understand that, you're not buying the car. You're signing up for years of payments without even knowing what you're agreeing to.
No, I totally understand that, and I think there might be a misunderstanding there, because the sales price of the car would be $27,500, okay?
Yes.
And you put $3,000 down, then your amount financed is $24,500. The sales price is still $27,500. The list price on the car is $31,500, but I'm giving you a discount because you're going to put $3,000 down. I'm bringing the sale price down to $27,500, so it's not going to go over $30,000. In fact, it's quite a bit under that. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay.
Let's put it like this. What would we have to put for a $350 to $400 payment? To my mind, it's always comes down to how much are you going to have to pay per month.
Absolutely.
I don't want it to be a problem with the budget that we have.
It's great to have a budget, but focusing on the monthly payment ignores the total cost. And really, she's jumping ahead. She still doesn't understand the down payment. That's how people end up saying the payment fits my budget, while overpaying tens of thousands of dollars over the life of the loan.
Yep. So a sale price on mine at $27,500. If you put $3,000 down, the payment would be $445. Okay, right around that neighborhood. Essentially, for every $1,000 that you put more, it's going to lower that payment roughly $20 more.
Okay.
So if you put $4,000, it's going to be like $425. If you put $5,000 down, it's going to be right around that $405, $410 mark.
Okay. What length of loan is that? 72 months?
Yes, ma'am.
If the price is $27,000 and then we have to add $3,000 from our amount of money, it's still going to be $30,000 then plus the taxes. You see what I'm saying? That's how much money we're going to have to come up with.
If you put the $3,000 down, the money from the bank is only going to be $24,500 because you're not going to come up with $3,000 down and then still finance the full amount. That's going to offset that.
Okay, I see. We're going to have to think about it, okay? I don't want to make a decision for you guys and just keep you hanging on, and we have really got to discuss how much we want to put on this. I'll have to get back with you and what you think.
Too many people don't actually understand the loan they're getting into. They know the monthly payment, they know the term, but they have no idea what the interest rate is, how much they're financing, or what the total cost will be at the end. Again, they're not buying a car. They're agreeing to a contract they don't fully understand. And once you sign it, all that confusion becomes very expensive.
You're calling about our X7?
Yes.
What can I do for you on that?
I have a little bit of, I guess you could say, challenged credit. It's sitting at like 620, 630s is what I wanted to say. And I was just wondering on what kind of down payment I would need on, because I do know it's like $33,000, so it's a more expensive car.
You've got fantastic taste in cars. You picked probably my nicest car on the lot. 620 is not too difficult for me. They look for the ability to pay it, right? The bank, and stability.
Okay.
How much do you make?
Weekly, it's about $750.
So that's about $3,000 a month. Do you own a mortgage? What do you have? Rent?
We have rent. It's $450. So
Having rent that low would be a great opportunity to save. Instead, she wants to spend a good portion of her income on a car. Of course, spending like that explains the credit score. It's not terrible, but with expenses that low, that's a chance to build an emergency fund, clean up any old debt, and actually improve your situation. Instead, she's about to trade flexibility for a payment.
So you say we. Is that you and your husband?
it is, yes.
What does he make?
Weekly, he makes $1,000.
Okay, so he makes $4,000. That's $7,000 combined. How's his credit? Same as yours?
It is, yes.
Now the big question, how much down do you have?
I don't know. I'd like to put quite a bit down, just because I've been told previously that helps with your payment. Like every $10 off of 100, I think is what the other place used to be.
Every $1,000 you put down reduces your payment about $18 to $20.
Okay.
Just let me know how much you can put down that doesn't hurt you.
It would be like 5,000.
Okay. Tax and license alone on that's going to be close to 3, but you have the ability to pay with you and your husband. And does anything show on your credit as far as a repo or bankruptcy?
So I did have a repo 5 years ago.
But you're back on your feet, right?
I am, yes.
I think I can get you started. Fill out an app on a website and let me go to work for you.
She says she's back on her feet after the repo. But getting back on your feet doesn't mean jumping back into the same type of debt that probably knocked you down in the first place. Being back on your feet means stability. It means saving, breathing room, options. It means you can handle a surprise expense without panic. Not that you can qualify for another loan.
You do realize that when them debt collectors is calling, it's okay for you to answer the phone and tell them you don't have it. It's literally okay. They're not going to jump through the phone. What are they going to do? No, what are they going to do? I mean, you can literally ask them like, okay, and what comes after this? Like, I told you I don't have it. I don't have it. What comes next? Think about them like a fake best friend. Guess what? When you do have it to pay and you call them and you pay it, okay. And they're going to be cool with you all over again because you got that.
She treats it like it's no big deal to tell a debt collector you can't pay. Like that conversation ends the responsibility. It makes it sound like telling a debt collector you can't pay is some sort of resolution, when in reality it's just the beginning of escalation. Saying I can't pay doesn't make the debt disappear. It just starts the next phase of the process. And once it moves out of phone calls and into paperwork, things get very real very fast.
I'm being sued by a credit card company for $5,000 for not paying the bill. You know how you don't know what you don't know? Well, I learned this the hard way. I got into a lot of debt being a single mom in nursing school. Like, I really racked my credit cards up surviving, you know? And then when I started making money, I tried really hard to pay them off, but it just, like, I was drowning in it. I just, like, had a really hard time getting out of it. I tried to get a loan and I couldn't get approved for one, so I ended up consolidating all my debt. You know, like, I did research it. Like, I understood I was going to ruin my credit. I knew that it was going to be bad, but I had just gotten a new car. I had my place. Like, it was fine. Like, I could handle this for a couple years and just have bad credit for a while and then build it back up. And this is my fault for not understanding, but I just didn't know.
It's hard for me to believe she didn't know. When I look back to when I had debt, I knew exactly what I was doing. Every time I made a purchase, I knew I didn't have a real plan on how I was going to pay it back. And I knew there were consequences if I couldn't. That's the part people like to skip over. If you don't understand the basics of how credit works, you shouldn't be using it.
You have to stop paying on the bills because they won't settle your credit card bills unless there's, like, you're behind on them and there's a need for it. So you just stop paying on them, which felt wrong, but it's what I did. But one of the ones that I owed like $5,000 on, which was my biggest one, that was the only one that they like didn't shut down, and it just like kept growing and growing and growing. And I was like, what do I do? And they were like, just keep paying us and like we'll get it settled. And I was like, okay, like this is what I do. Eventually the credit card did get shut down, but I still never got like the documentation saying it was settled. And I was like, you know, it'll probably be coming. I just need to build that account up more, you know, whatever. So I've been paying my monthly payments, you know, trying to get it settled. And then today, as I'm sitting in my car, I get served. And like, I just didn't even know that this was an option.
When you use credit, you're signing a contract that says, I will repay this or there will be consequences. Interest, collections, court, none of that is hidden. It's just ignored. And when people don't understand that part, they treat debt casually right up until it becomes very serious. She's shocked that a credit card company could sue her, but that's literally the only leverage they have.
The credit card company's suing me for the $5,000, but I've also been paying the $5,000 off from the other company. So of course I call them and I spend all morning on the phone with these people. And they're just like, well, all we can do is extend your payments out because obviously they have to make a profit, right? So if it's settled for the amount that it's settled for, then they're not making a profit. So they want mass amounts more money in order to settle this now. But I'm also at the same time being sued and have to go to court over this. And they're now telling me like, oh, well, you won't have to go to court if you just extend your payments to us. But like, that doesn't seem right. Like, I don't know. I can't afford a lawyer. I literally don't know what I'm supposed to do anymore.
This was avoidable. This didn't happen because she was unlucky. It happened because the basics were ignored early on. Using a credit card means having a plan before you swipe it. Not a hope, not a guess, an actual plan to pay it back in full, every month at minimum. Right now, I send a payment as soon as the charge posts to my account. If a plan isn't there, the card shouldn't be either.
If you are behind on your payments, how do you do a budget? You have to prioritize your dollars. And that means we're going to take care of what we used to learn, and they no longer teach it in the 8th grade, called civics, the difference in necessities and luxuries. Food. There's one. No, eating out is not a necessity. Some of you people, all you know how to make is reservations, and you got to work on that, okay? So food at home, cheap, that you bought at the grocery store with a coupon. Food is a necessity. Utilities, lights and water, so you have heat. Once you've gotten food and utilities, we're bellies full and we're warm. Number 3 is shelter.
Most people weren't taught this, but not learning it doesn't make the consequences any smaller. When you're behind, a budget isn't about saving, it's about survival. It's about keeping a roof over your head and income coming in, and cutting everything else until you're stable again.
So you take care of your place to live so you're not homeless. You pay your rent. Now, almost everyone can scratch around and make enough money to buy their food, keep their electricity current if they're first, second, and third, and keep your rent paid. And if you'll just get real calm, cool, and collected and go, we're going to eat before we do anything, not eat out. We're going to pay the utilities, not cable, before we do anything. We're going to pay rent. And when you do those 3 things, you got a lot of money, most of you, left over after those 3 things. Then the next one's transportation. And until you clear food, utilities, housing, and transportation and get them all current, you don't spend anything else on anything. Food, shelter, transportation, and utilities. Get current on them before you worry about anything else. Everyone else can jump in the creek until that's done.
Yep.
When you are that far behind financially, things have to get simple. Spending gets limited to the basics. Food, housing, utilities, and getting to work. It's about stabilizing the situation so it doesn't get worse. And once the basics are covered and you regain some control, then you can start rebuilding. You can't budget your way forward if you're still spending like nothing's wrong. If you want to see more, you know what to do. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.